Hello, you beautiful legends, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast, episode 355. This blog and podcast exist exactly for 355 days straight. No break, no rest days, 350 days ongoing. Habit of writing and podcasting. So if you ever struggled to start podcasting or start blogging, or you maybe actually did it for a while and stopped, so you're probably in a position like me where you just find it difficult to maintain the things that you're motivated to do. This blog is about it, and this podcast as well. So while it's just a recording of my own journey, I share with you all the struggles, including the really bad days, average days, those very dual moments of life and blogging and podcasting, as well as those exciting ones, albeit sometimes there's not many of them, and it's still fine. As you can see, I'm at the moment outdoorsy in Rosnola Lower. So if you were in Ireland, in County Donegal, then many people in Ireland know what that location is. The Rosnola is pretty much the cradle of surfing in Ireland, and it's quite a popular spot for tourists in the summer season, but Rosnola Lower is not. You can see this is a kind of derelict house that was probably used for some amenities, like maybe some accommodation, and the rest of them, they're like, you can see those houses, this is like a trailer park. So these are mobile houses that are just sitting there, and they're maintained by the private owner of that land. So it's more of a private location for tourists and those who rent those houses or they own them. And it's, as you can hear, it's so quiet and nice and relaxing. Even during the season, it is quite quiet here. While just around the corner, Rosnola is packed with people. The beach at Rosnola is...
Sorry, I can't help you with that on Apple Watch.
Oh wow, that would be cool blooper, but I don't want to cut it off. Let's leave it as is. So while the Rosnola just around the corner is a very busy and special place, because it's one of those beaches where you can drive into. So there is access to the beach that you can drive into with a car, and you can park at the beach, which is not very usual thing that you probably see around the world. And in Ireland we have a couple of those beaches, and this one is certainly, I would say, the most famous one. We are just after high tide, so we are hoping to get nice and deep water to take a little dip and enjoy this beautiful weather, which we were not fortunate to have for 2 months of summer, while other parts of the world could have enjoyed the July and August summer holidays to some extent. For some reason this year Ireland got at the brink of those fronts that carried a lot of clouds and water. So we really had very little sun, and by very little I mean out of 62 days of July and August, I believe probably about 55 were rainy days. The rest of them were like the cloudy days with, just the moments of sun that it was just shining for a couple of minutes, maybe an hour or so. But other than that, it was very depressing to have the constant rain and no sun. And as you probably know, people really need or depend on the sunlight, and not having it for 2 months, it was really stressing on the mental side of things. So I'm very happy that once the September started, we have like a heat wave getting us in Ireland, while the other countries now in Europe are having lower temperatures and a little bit unstable weather as the fall or autumn is starting. September in Ireland seems to be a very nice month to be, because you still get those warm temperatures and a little bit of sun. Last year the summer was nice. This year it was terrible. Well, maybe not terrible, it was miserable, because the temperature was great. We had a very mild to higher temperatures for Ireland, around 15 to 20s. So it's with this humidity. I know in some countries, if you have 15, you feel cold, but here in Ireland it's slightly different. Between 15 and 20 Celsius, you will get a really nice combination of temperature and humidity, so you don't feel cold. Obviously, depending on your tolerance for temperatures, but I think that this is a sweet spot for temperature, so you don't feel too hot. You can do a lot of stuff like walking, running, and you feel great. You don't sweat too much. But yeah, the sun was missing and it's back now, so it's a lovely weather. As you can see at the back, probably this body of water is a lake. It's the only lake in that close to the seaside in the area, and I think you can access it somewhere, but I didn't explore it yet. So maybe one of the episodes I can do about that when I visit it. I see a lot of white things out there, and I suspect that these are actually swans. So that's very interesting, because I'm not sure if it will be visible. I'll try to zoom it. Oh, I can't zoom it. Not on this camera. But if I keep it stable, you might see the white dots on the water. And yeah, they are too big for seagulls or some other birds. And obviously these are not crests of the waves, because there's no wind, there's no swell, to be honest. So there might be a lot of swans in there, might be getting ready to fly somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, for those of you that don't follow my journey, blunt force healing, as the name says, is about healing yourself with a hard, sometimes, and difficult truth. So blunt force is kind of harsh way of saying, but I think that looking at society these days and the way we as a humanity progressed at the same time as we kind of regressed in terms of mental approach and treating each other differently in pursuit of being equal, we became more divided, and that's something that is very sad to see. That's what I call regress, because it's quite a paradox. While we were progressing, we regressed in terms of that humanity piece. We are divided more than ever, and that's something that we need to address, because let's be honest, people are beautiful beings. There's no need for that division, that hatred or animosity against each other. Like, we are all entitled to have our own opinions, and we should respect others. Of course, there are always differences, and that's what makes us so unique on this planet. Here, this place, it's an amazing piece of grass that, if you're lucky, it's so quiet in here that there's a lot of rabbits in those, like the wild hares or whatever, living in those bushes. So they are very often grazing in here, and they're different, like the little kind of dark black ones or the standard kind of gray ones, sometimes even other kind of shades of gray or brown or black. It's cool to kind of just sit down sometimes here at this, curb, and watch them grazing if you're lucky, if they don't run away. And if the wind is right, they won't smell you or kind of feel your presence here, so you might be lucky to sit down and relax. So yeah, this is Friday. We had a quite terrible night, to be honest. It was very hot at night, temperatures were high, and it was very difficult to sleep. And on top of that, Julian got some virus, like a continuation probably of what happened a couple of days ago. But now it's an obvious flu-like symptoms, with running nose. I don't think he's coughing, but he's sneezing a lot. He feels weak, and he has sore throat. Fortunately, he doesn't have any headaches, so it's good. But it seems like I caught a bit of it as well. So we were just waking up and going back to sleep, waking up. So it was a couple of moments during the night that we were either woken up by the temperature or the symptoms. So yeah, I don't feel well. We came up to the fresh air because I found that over the last couple of years I recover better from any infections when I'm outside. So I wasn't having enough in me today, but too weak, and the headaches don't allow me to focus. So I decided, after 2 hours of working in the morning, to sign off and tell the guys that I'm no use at the workplace for the teams. There's no point for me just sitting there and my mind roaming somewhere, not focused on the work. So I decided to skip the rest of Friday, recover a little bit over the weekend, and come back strong Monday morning. This is also cool, like an old bench, that derelict building from the other perspective. So yeah, this is it for today. It's quite early because it's 2 p.m. We are approaching 2 p.m, so quite early update that I'm recording, but I want to make sure that I have that video ready, and when I write the blog post, I have it embedded, and you have the nice, sharp, vivid update, rather than the ones like yesterday or the day before, where we're just done in the evening in the bad light conditions at home. Yeah, not sure about what I will write about today, but again, if you want to check the blog, I highly recommend it because it's complementary to those podcast videos. They always come in pairs, so actually blog is underpinning the podcast. So if you go to the blog, every day there is a post that starts with a single paragraph, then the video update that you can watch in the blog, it's embedded, and then you continue reading. So it's a handy way I try to organize it. So I really appreciate your time, and especially those of you that follow me for longer than just one episode. But of course, I appreciate everyone listening even to a single episode, because it's your time that is very valuable, and you spend it on watching me. I'm just going to enter the beach and wrap up for today. Julian is feeling a little bit weaker today, so we will be probably reading the books and enjoying the weather. So here they are. You can see Juliana here, Elizabeth there. So that's it for today. Hope you have a great rest of the day wherever you are, and see you tomorrow. Stay tuned.